When did you first start making the Absence of Presence?
It started 2 or 3 years ago, actually. As soon as we wound up with the Prelude Implicit, we headed back out on the road, and the guys started writing, and we started just writing the songs. But it was just in the last year or so that we got together in the studio and started putting it together.
Anything to add to that one, Ronnie?
Well, that's about right. And to me, the most ironic thing is the title of the album, and just how it's just so associated with what's going on now. But yeah, I think it's almost been 2 years in the making now.
Yeah.
So.
And that's a follow-up to an album that came out about 4 years ago. So is Kansas writing music all the time? Or is it more like we have a new album with 10 songs, we wrote 10 songs?
Well, don't they say a writer always writes? So, sorry, Phil, I didn't mean to step on you there. But I just think it's part of the work ethic of this band is to always keep moving down every avenue possible. So it was a surprise to me joining the band and doing the Prelude Implicit. It's something I didn't expect when I got the job in the band, but here we are with the second studio album and also with the live album, Left Overture Live and Beyond, that was out. So 3 albums under my belt since I've been in the band, and it just goes to show Kansas continually wants to put out that product.
And this one goes to Phil. I did my research on Ronnie before this chat, to say the very least. As somebody who's been aware of Kansas his whole life, but aware of Ronnie for a few years now. Ronnie, who I had the pleasure of speaking with before you came on the line, Phil, has such an interesting background. And the narrative out there is that you guys kind of found him and said, do you want to audition, or at least do you want to join? Was there a particular video or performance of Ronnie's that made you went, this is the guy for Kansas?
Well, it's a good question, actually. I was sent a video of Ronnie singing The Wall. He was at a piano by himself. I think it was at a club. And he had mentioned something about, you guys need to go see Kansas. This is a song by them called The Wall, and he sang it. And that's when I went, okay, this could be our guy. And got in touch with him and had him come to Atlanta. And he met with me and Richard, and we sat and talked, and he got to know us a little bit, and we got to know him. And I told him to, come to Atlanta and start with The Wall. That was the first song we were going to start with. And he nailed it. And it's been great ever since. So, yeah, it was a bit of a process, but seeing him, singing and playing, especially The Wall, which is a very special song, meant a lot. That he was very familiar with that, could nail it, walked right in with the band, nailed it. It was, we got off to a great start for sure.
And Ronnie, have you ever established the first time that you ever saw Kansas live?
Yes, I do know the first time I saw them live, and unfortunately, it was later in their career. It was at the Holiday Star Plaza in Maryville, Indiana. The opening band was Night Ranger.
Okay.
So that was much later. Sorry to say, I never saw them in the 70s. I wasn't much of a concert goer. I was very much a loner at home, either playing guitar or playing bass, and working to buy music equipment. That's what I did. And I really didn't get into seeing concerts later in life. But I should add that, Phil did see that video of me doing The Wall, but it's really not the first time that they knew of me. It's not like I was totally unknown to them. We've had mutual friends through the band, and I've met them previous times before that. And I also played a show with them, the Moondance Festival up in Walker, Minnesota. And Darren, I got to tell you this lineup, if you'll indulge me for a minute. The lineup for just Thursday was Shooting Star,
Okay.
Foghat, Kansas, Sheryl Crow, and then this little band that was trying to make a name for themselves called Journey. That was the lineup for Thursday. And I just remember just being so excited to be sharing the stage, singing for a national act and sharing the stage with Kansas, not to mention, other bands that I really admired. So that was really a great thing. And that was a few years before joining Kansas.
Now, this question can go for either of you here. Journey was, I think, the first high-profile band to kind of admit that they found their singer through a YouTube video. Was there any hesitation in kind of admitting that publicly?
No, not for us. No, there was no hesitation. I mean, as Ronnie said, there was a number of ways that we knew of him,
right?
Whether it was through mutual friends or, seeing him on YouTube or have him come in and audition. And in my mind, it really wasn't an audition. I just wanted to make sure that he fit, personality-wise, and that's important also. And he did, and on all fronts. So it really wasn't just a YouTube thing.
I remember Phil telling me before I came down to Atlanta, he said to me, we're not having you come down to audition. We've already seen you sing. Mm-hmm. We just want to know if you're a nice guy, if you're going to fit in with the band, if you're going to be able to take our severe abuse.
Yeah.
Things went very well. And Phil, I remember that meeting in Atlanta. Darren, yeah. we talked business. What do you think, Phil? Maybe 10 minutes. And we were together probably 3.5 hours, talked business for 10 minutes. And the rest of the time was just getting to know each other, telling stories and laughing. We were laughing most of the time. So we hit it off right there.
We did.
And I don't know if the number is hundreds of thousands or in the low millions, but I'm one of those people that was really looking forward to the tour this summer that you had with Foreigner and Europe, the Jukebox Heroes tour, like everybody. Is that tour postponed? Is there any chance that lineup is going out next summer or in the future?
There's always a chance, but it has not been rescheduled. I can tell you officially it has not been rescheduled. So you never know right now, but it has not been rescheduled.
Got it. So looking ahead, and the clear answer to this could be no, because most people are going to say no, but is there anything in the future besides promoting this great new record of yours that is concrete for Kansas?
You're right. There's really nothing right now. There's nothing that's concrete. And I think most people can say that, I can guarantee you most bands can say that.
Right.
There's nothing concrete. Nothing.
Well, on a brighter note, you have this great new album, which sounds like it wasn't painful to make and you were able to take your time doing it. Is it the kind of thing where you're sending tracks back and forth, or did everybody have to be in the same room to get it done?
Yeah, no, it was, luckily everybody is pretty much set up with their own studio or their ability to work on their parts or whatever. And a lot of this was worked on the road, because we would, before we'd play each night, we had a rehearsal session where we'd go over the songs we were going to be playing that night, but we'd also start working on other songs. One comes to mind is Throwing Mountains. We had the demo of that Zach had made, and we just started learning the song even before we recorded it. So it was the kind of thing that, by the time we got to the studio, it was everybody was fairly familiar as to what we were going to do.
Now, on a totally different wavelength here, Kansas has one of the most enduring catalogs for rock, classic rock, whatever you want to call it. And in turn, it's been licensed creatively better than almost any of your peers. And I say that because your music was on The Simpsons, it's in Guitar Hero. You name the comedy, it's in there. You know, the usage in Old School still is great to this date. But was there anything that Kansas has turned down over the years that would be surprising?
Yeah. Most of that stuff comes through me, since I'm also the manager of the band. Mm-hmm. And I'll hear it, and I have to either approve it or disapprove it. And there has been some disapprovals. And it's strange because The Simpsons was great, you know. The things that we've been on and done. I mean, it's Supernatural has been great. Most of the submissions that I've turned down that was wanting to use a sample of one of our songs, and usually in a style of music that doesn't really fit Kansas or doesn't really complement the song. When they want to use our music in more of making fun of it, and I don't mean tongue in cheek, like, you know, Will Ferrell and stuff, that's great. But sometimes it's just like, no, that's not going to work. But there's only been a couple. I mean, they've all been sincere, and you know, we really like to use this, and you know, guys, it's just not going to work. So, but most of the time, we're flattered that people want to use our music, and we embrace it, as well as advertisements and things like that we feel good about. So we just kind of go with that.
Well, this next question goes towards both of you, and I'm going to get totally different answers here because, Phil, you've been in the band since the beginning. You've been here the whole time. Ronnie, 6 years or so, I believe, in the band.
6 years.
Okay. Phil and Ronnie, both of you, what do you still want to accomplish in being in one of the greatest rock bands of all time?
Phil, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I don't know if accomplished is the word, but it's something that personally I'd like to, you know, right now it's a great question. I would like to see the band be able to continue. Mm-hmm. And continue in the mode that we're in, and it's a very successful time for the band, where the band is great, and the venues are great, and the crowds are great, and our new music is great, and it's just something that for 16 years we didn't have that. We were still out there playing, but it was at a time where we didn't have any new music. Members of the band were less than excited to be there. Mm-hmm. It was the venues were not very good. It was 16 years we call the dark years. So we were basically ages. Yeah, we were on a bus, you know, playing every dive you could imagine, and we've pulled ourselves out of that. And the new blood, whether it's Ronnie or Tom or Zach or whatever, the new blood that's come into the band has provided a lot of that. And the other four of us have been through all those times, and we just hope that this time period that everybody's going through right now passes, and we can get back to what we've done. So that's what I'd like to see, is to return to our former times a few months ago.
And yourself, Ronnie?
I'm not going to rest until Kansas is played on every continent. So that would be nice. You know, for me, it's more of a work goal that I've always had, and that's to at every show try and be better. And you know, Kansas has or I should say the Kansas fan has such a high expectation with this music, and to deliver that's my goal, is to keep delivering this music to the high standard that we put it at, and to keep Kansas going, and to keep writing new music. I mean, I've said this many times, where the kudos really go to Phil and Rich, who have been here since day one,
right,
and still have this creative desire to put out new music under that Kansas name that has that Kansas influence. And both Zach and I say that we've been so influenced by Kansas our entire lives that when we write something, even not that we put, conscious thought into, we have to write a Kansas song now. It's just something that comes out naturally because you're a product of your influences. And we've been so influenced by Kansas our entire lives. We can't help but have elements of Kansas in our writing. So when you bring that to the band and everyone starts adding their own flavor, we go into the studio and, of course you got the amazing Billy Greer, the amazing David Ragsdale adding their flavor in. It turns out to have that Kansas flavor. And it would be my goal to see that continue for years to come, even when the members of Kansas change. Because in this band, it really is about the music and not about the musician. Why do they still play symphonies, still play, music from Bach and Beethoven and Mozart? Sure, their names are very well affiliated with that, but the music lives on. And I really put Kansas in that category.
Onwards and upwards, I guess, is the way that we can summarize it all up for both of you.
Absolutely.
So 2 quick questions for both of you, and then you are free for me. And the first one is, what is your best TV or film discovery in the midst of being quarantined the past few months?
That's a good one. I know mine.
I know mine.
I've discovered Peaky Blinders.
Okay.
What's
anybody heard
that?
of that? I think it's a Netflix Peaky Blinders. Wow, it is intense.
Really? I'm going to have to watch. For me, I did not realize that this was so popular. Was Ozark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I ended up binge watching that. I just thought that was fantastic.
Yeah.
One more season.
Yeah, you haven't seen Peaky Blinders, Ron?
No. I'm writing that down. That's on Netflix.
That's on Netflix.
Yeah, Peaky, Peaky Blinders. And I just thought, well, I'll just roll the dice. I mean, I couldn't stop. It's really good. It's really good.
Well, I have homework to do because of both of you, Ozark and Peaky Blinders. So in closing, for both of you, whoever wants to answer first, any last words for the kids?
Oh, geez. Well, mainly thanks to people like you, really, having us, doing the interviews and having been a supporter for a long time, not forgetting about us and kind of just pushing us to a side as a bunch of has-beens. We really always appreciate the people that, that appreciate us, and same thing with our fans, but times have changed in the last 40 years and people are still talking about Kansas. So can't complain.
Anything to add, Ronnie?
I'll second that. And it's funny when you mention kids, I don't know if you were saying our fans, but, when we walk into a meet and greet and the average age is probably 60, I still say, hi kids, So, but, it's great when you say kids and, it's our fans and the children of our fans, and now the grandchildren of our fans that are coming to see Kansas, and that's really great.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. So thank you guys so much for your time. Really do hope that you do come to Jones Beach in New York sometime in the near future, whenever that is. But congratulations on your new album.
Darren, thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Paltrow.